to say, yes, in the name of, because declassification is a very common thing in Europe and America. It has become common now in our country, in a sense. She never supported it. Only towards the end, when it became evident it's going to happen. So her problem is that. So she's not being very forthcoming on this issue. She sounds confused. One reason for her confusion is she has a big family, because in India, the many cousins and their families, so on and so forth. The problem is she has been particularly close to one section of her family in India.
Okay.
And this section has been close to Congress party.
Okay.
So my impression is that particular, the pro-Congress section of the Bose family has, clouded her, judgment by giving her wrong interpretation of the facts and so forth. Because she does not stay here, she's a foreigner, so on and so forth. So that's a problem. Now, Gumnami Baba is a bit complicated. Now, Gumnami Baba, our impression is he did it for their security. He disowned them. He said, I never got married.
Okay. Yeah.
He said, so legally speaking, they never got married, so that's true.
Okay.
So he disowned, this is not my child, and this is nothing to do with me. It's all part of a huge, big plan. Our interpretation is that he deliberately did so because he wanted to keep them safe. Because I can tell, for example, we have, in a manner of speaking, we have the evidence that his elder brother knew about him when he was in India. And there was a communication through somebody else. The brother knew. Others also, family knew about him. He was there. You can tell your own older brother, look, I am here, I'm sitting here, I will be, I cannot come out. And you also need not come here because you will be I'll be caught. The cover will uncover. Everything will come out. A brother might understand. But to convey the same thing to your own daughter and to your wife will be a bit difficult, especially more so when they're foreigners. The moment they were to, come to this or show interest directly, indirectly, the whole cover will be blown.
Yes.
This man was hiding away. He did not want the world to know who he was. So for him to make a statement that this is my wife and daughter, and so I think this was a security, measure on his part, that he disowned them, because probably that way he kept them safe. Because I don't see any evidence of the allegation that he has leveled, that it is all part of a big some intelligence network, that even the so-called wife and daughter is also part of it. Okay. I see no evidence for that as of now. So I am not willing to buy that theory, but most of the Gumnami Baba supporters buy that theory. I don't, as of now, because I will go by evidence.
Right.
I will go by the evidence. I will not go by what some people say.
So there is this preponderance of the plane crash theory when it comes to his daughter and that side of the family.
That can be easily countered because the daughter has also, as I said, has been changing her stand in between about the plane crash little bit. For example, if she's so sure of the plane crash story, the DNA testing for the first time when the government thought of doing a DNA testing, it was in the mid-90s. She was approached by government of India and she denied. She refused to have a DNA test done. So if you're so sure of DNA, they are your father's remains, why did you not allow a DNA test?
So do we have any DNA samples left of Gumnami Baba?
There are Gumnami Baba. This is I'm talking in the context of the Netaji so-called ashes kept in Rinpoche temple.
Okay, Rinpoche temple.
So
so what is the deal with that? Yeah.
The deal with the daughter supporting the demand. The daughter is so sure of the plane crash story. When she was asked to go ahead for the DNA testing of the remains kept in Rinpoche temple in Japan, she refused.
Okay.
This was in 19. Now she has taken a different tune. I want the test to be done today. But you were silent, you said something else. Number two, between her and her mother, I would pick her mother because her mother knew far better than she ever did. Okay. She was just 2 months old, she is Netaji's daughter, but she has no memory of Subhash Bose.
Yes.
Her mother died in 1996.
96?
Yes.
Okay.
So Amelia Schenkel never believed Subhash Bose died in a plane crash. Her view was, she was given information by multiple people, including people who have kept as a prisoner in Siberia. Germans came back, reported to her and others. She was of the belief that her husband was last seen or heard in Siberia.
I see.
So she never supported. In fact, government of India did its level best to persuade her to support the plane crash story. So Netaji's daughter's view can be easily countered with the view of his wife. Mother never believed the plane crash story, and she is far more credible than the daughter.
Okay. Now coming to the Rinpoche ashes, what is the deal with that?
The deal with the remains reached there. Now there is no return.
When do the remains first appear?
According to the official theory, the Subhash Bose died in a plane crash in Taiwan.
Yes.
They tried the Habibur Rahman, who was the EDC, who was in charge, of course, because he was the only Indian, but others were all Japanese. First of all, the news of the death was kept secret.
Yes.
So he did not inform anybody. He just kept sitting on it. After 2-3 days, they wanted after next year, but whenever they initially they wanted the remains to be taken to either Singapore or elsewhere, because Subhash's headquarters, Azadin Sarkar, was in Singapore.
Yes.
So he wanted these body to be taken to Singapore. So there were some excuses, it cannot be done because we don't have any planes available at this stage. Whatever.
Okay.
So the body could not be transported anywhere. So they had to be cremated. It had to be cremated there. So the cremation happened. So now there's a problem that there are multiple versions of cremation because Habib himself became confused.
Okay.
The date of confusion, the cremation. Sometime 20, sometime 22nd.
I see.
So you cannot make that kind of mistake. Your leader has died. You talk about him and you start crying, Netaji died and this is what happened, this is what I saw. You cannot fumble on the date of cremation. So he fumbled on the date of cremation, and there's a big story behind it because why he did so.
Okay.
So he was cremated. So we have pictures of Habibur Rahman holding some container in which they are supposedly remains of. There are no other proper details. There are some individuals who said they attended this ceremony. So, but let's assume that there was a cremation. So I don't dispute that. There was a cremation of a body.
Okay.
According to the evidence and record, this was the body of a Japanese soldier, Ichiro Okura, whose body was passed off as Netaji's body because as part of the cover plan.
Okay.
There has to be some kind of a body, because there are some photographs of a body covered, no face available. There was a body which was cremated. It was not Netaji's body.
A Japanese soldier.
It was a Japanese soldier. According to the evidence coming from the Mukherjee Commission, and especially coming from the Gumnami Baba side, Subhash Bose, he himself never went to Taiwan on that day.
Was there a plane crash that day?
He never went there. No plane crash. He never went there. The plane crash story was planted by the Japanese.
Okay.
So when you're planting the story, there are elements there. So among the thing, there's also body. So they've taken one photograph. Then there are witnesses who say they saw Netaji's body being taken out, but the face is not visible.
Yes.
But the story is planted. Some Japanese and Taiwanese were fooled by it, because when you make such an elaborate plan, which you will not take everybody into the secret. So obviously the orderlies would not know, the nurses would not know what is happening, so on and so forth. So a body was disposed of. That body was of Ichiro Okura's, not Netaji's. All the same, according to the version given by Government of India, this is Netaji's body.
Okay.
Fine. Cremated. Remains were taken to Tokyo in September 45.
Okay.
There only verbal records are available because there is no written record that was given to the military headquarters.
September 45, by the time Japan had already surrendered.
They surrendered.
So why were the remains not taken to India?
No, I think there was no way they could have come to India because situation different. So I think the only option available for him was either to go to Singapore or probably go to Japan.
So they went to Tokyo.
So he went to Tokyo. Probably he wanted to come to Singapore with the body, but couldn't be done. But eventually they thought probably that was the only way they could fly. So he went to Tokyo, which I think that by itself is not a problem area, because India was totally ruled out in that sense. So he goes there and then he hands over verbally. There are no written records to the Japanese headquarters, military headquarters. They call two individuals, S.A. Iyer, I told you the person who became was a thief, and Murthy. So Murthy and Iyer were brought in the picture. Both of have them dubious background now.
Okay.
So they were given those remains. These guys went and Murthy kept the remains in his home for some time.
Okay.
And after some time, after 2-3 days, maybe some period, they convinced a priest in a small temple in suburban Tokyo area to keep the ashes with him.
Okay.
Told him, you keep it, we'll take it back from you. Because right now we cannot cannot take it anywhere, and we fear it might be confiscated by the Allied authorities.
So it's a Buddhist temple?
It is a Buddhist temple. Okay. So the priest was very kind old man, so he took it. Because so the ashes remains were deposited in the Renkoji temple.
Okay.
After when Indian government authorities reached there, so Indian government got in touch with the temple authorities, and beginning 50-51, the Indian, we did not have an ambassador, we had a plenipotentiary there. Okay. Mr. Chettur. So J.R. Jaitleyji's father, the Samta Party former leader. Okay. So J.R. Jaitleyji's father, K.K. Chettur, he was an IFS, Indian Foreign Service person, ICS. He was the Indian plenipotentiary there. So he in 51, Government of India through him took official charge of the remains. Official charge? Yes. So the ashes, Netaji's remains are in our custody. The physical possession has been left to the temple priest. Okay. So you keep it, but we are it. So in case something happens, we will take it. This is our stuff. So over a period of time, now this by itself is a long story, long and winding story. But over a period of time, the priest became restless. Okay. And somebody, sitting in the South Block here had a good idea, and that we should pay him some money and we should pay the temple some money to keep it.
Okay.
So, and this idea was thought of by K.R. Narayanan, who became our president in future.
I see.
So it is Narayanan's idea, and he was deeply rooted in the the British Raj era kind of thing. I've seen some of his comments, which show that he was a completely very rooted in the British visions of the world, so to speak. So he thought of this idea that we should pay them.
Okay.
Now this was done top secret.
I see.
Nobody had any clue about we were paying the Rinpoche temple. It was completely top secret. They were all kind of bureaucrats and Indian foreign service persons, some of whom are in power today.
Okay.
They handled this matter. They knew the money was being paid, but not a word was whispered about it for all these years.
Okay.
That since 1961 or so, we have been paying Rinpoche temple.
Since 61?
61 or so. We have been. K.R. Narayanan was the head of the East Asia division of the ME in those days.
I see.
J.N. Dixit was the first secretary. So when this happened, I think the first, if I'm not wrong, the first time the money was paid, J.N. Dixit did the honors.
Okay.
He was the first secretary in Japan. Because all the people whose names are on the file who handled this matter all eventually became foreign secretary and so on and so forth.
Okay.
So so anybody is like a Midas church. You touch the Netaji issue, but you're on the right side, you will go everywhere.
Interesting.
so all of them. In fact, you take the name, everybody handled this case here and there, this matter. And then this was given, and then so this kept on happening, and in between they will be pressured to take the remains back, but it would not happen. India, they were not willing, not ready. My assumption is the government of India knew he was here, so obviously they cannot bring the ashes to this country. The real man is sitting here. Otherwise, the excuses which are given in government files, we cannot bring them back because there is a people in Bengal who don't accept that he's dead. It's nonsense. And nobody cared for Subhash Bose in Bengal after 1946-47.
Okay.
So this is nonsense. The whole idea, Bengalis are not bothered about Subhash Bose. Let's be very clear about it. We can talk at length about it later on.
Okay.
So they are not bothered about it. So his excuse is used. I think the reason the government of India did not allow these remains to India because they knew very well at the top level the man was alive. He did not die, and these are certainly not his remains. So if we bring them here and God forbid the real thing comes out from here and there, we'll be in deep trouble.
Okay.
So from one excuse or the other, they did not allow. Japanese kept on putting a pressure on her, but we would never. And then Japanese gave up.
Okay.
So these ashes remain where they were, and temple authorities are very happy because they're getting money.
Okay.
Then in 1990s, the FBI started doing this DNA testing. So science was not known.
Yes.
Only became known in mid-1990s. I believe 92, 93, the FBI first started doing the testing.
They called it DNA fingerprinting.
DNA fingerprinting.
Yes.
First it was done by some British expert. But the FBI began using it only in 1992-93.
Okay.
At that stage, it was mooted. The idea came that you should subject these remains to DNA testing.
Okay.
But the government has never done it.
The thing is, they are burned, right? The remains are burned.
No, that's a secondary thing that we know now that they are burned. So it was Justice Mukherjee who came the closest. So he saw the remains.
He saw the remains?
I'm sorry. He did not. He wanted to see the remains. He could not.
Okay.
Because there's some excuse given by the priest that the container cannot be opened. We need a carpenter. Today's a holiday, so on and so forth. So he said, take photographs and send me the photograph. So he wanted to see. He wanted to see the remains, but he could not because physically. All the same, the pictures were taken by our embassy, and these pictures were then Mukherjee Commission received. There are 15 images, 12 images of the Rinpoche temple remains.
Okay.
Then he had these pictures studied by the experts.
Okay.
British, American, and Indian. Lalji Singh was there, and so. So all of them were of the same opinion. These are burnt remains, and these cannot be tested DNA. At least the DNA testing science as it was in 2000, early 2000 was not that advanced. Today we do not know it. There might be a way, but God knows. Terry Milton was an American expert, and he was, she was approached. I'm sorry, Terry was a lady. Terry Milton was approached, and Terry was positive in the sense that she offered that I am willing to do a mitochondrial DNA test on these remains. Okay. Which is like something which comes from mother to daughter.
Mother to children.
So then, because the Mukherjee Commission had the blood sample from Netaji's daughter's granddaughter or daughter something. From the maternal side, there were samples are available to check, verify. Because this comes only to mother to daughter.
Mother to child. But it's passed on through mother to daughter.
No, mother to daughter, not to the male child. Because mitochondrial...
Even the males have the mitochondrial DNA, but they cannot transmit it to their offspring. Only the mothers can.
So that is why Netaji's, either niece or niece's daughter blood sample. I think most likely niece. Netaji's sister's daughter had given blood sample for testing.
Okay.
So that was available to Mukherjee Commission.
As a reference.
So they could do this thing. So Terry Milton offered the mitochondrial DNA testing. And Justice Mukherjee, of course, he said, I'll try. I'm not very hopeful, but I'll try. But first, I would like to do an anthropological evaluation of, should be done of these remains, and report should be given to me.
So what exactly is there?
There are large parts of chunks of bones. So, for example, lower part of jawbone.
Okay.
Lower, upper also, but lower one can. Then there are parts of skull.
So it's fragments.
Fragments.
Okay.
All broken. So these bones can be seen very easily, like this cranium part, if I'm not wrong. This is there. So anthropological expert, I'm sure, can easily find out whether they are male or female and so on and so forth, or Asian or Caucasian or whatever.
Okay.
For example, I'm given to understand this cranium, this thing, even if the male is shorter in height, this would be thicker.
Okay.
So female will always have a very not very thick.
I see.
So there are ways, the anthropological expert would know. But so Terry Milton wanted this forensic, anthropological evaluation done of these remains, and then on that condition, she would do the DNA testing.
Okay.
So Justice Mukherjee informed Government of India about it, because please understand, the ashes remains are in the custody of Government of India.
Correct.
It is not in the custody of the temple priest.
Yes, right.
He has the physical custody, but possession is ours. We are the overall in charge. And we give him some money also, so he will not mind.
Yeah.
So this is what they offered, and from that time, government hushed up.
Okay.
That is a long and short of it. There's a long story behind it. People may say this is that thing, but the reality is that they offered. In such a case, it should have been done immediately. What is? I mean, you go for DNA testing in all small and all and sundry cases. What is preventing the Government of India for doing a test? I think it should be done today, but not in any Indian lab, because see what they did in the Gumnami Baba case. I would rather have it done in the FBI lab or maybe another lab in England or UK or in Europe. So these two labs should be, when we can give the Bhamari Devi's remains for testing to FBI lab, why should Netaji's remains should not go there? So they should be tested. We have an arrangement with the FBI. They have their man here in Delhi. So we have an arrangement with the CBI and FBI. Because this is a very scientific thing, we don't have that kind of an expertise. And as we know that all issues in India, whenever there's a problem, they always take forensic expert from abroad, not from India. Any small issues, they will go running to the... Everybody knows that we don't have the capability in this country to do. We can only... third-rate reports will come out.
Do we have any tissue samples from Gumnami Baba himself?
The problem is that Justice Mukherjee, before coming to that, he also tried to lift the fingerprints also, because that is also one way.
Yes.
And about fingerprint, I'm given to understand, for example, if you and I both were to touch this table, and even if 1 million people were to touch the table, so they have technology. In fact, they had technology even 10 years earlier. They would lift our fingerprints somehow. So science has become very advanced and all that. So when you touch our paper, for example, newspaper, or even there we have it can be done.
Okay.
I mean, it's feasible. I mean, may not. So Justice Mukherjee wanted to find out whether any latent fingerprint can be lifted from the stuff of Gumnami Baba.
Okay.
For example, I think some stuff was found and people thought it might contain his fingerprint, so they covered it properly when the stuff was secured back in 1985-86.
Okay.
So this question and this demand rather, Justice Mukherjee made to the same CFSL Calcutta, but they never responded.
I see.
So the fingerprint is out. Regarding DNA, Justice Mukherjee's intention was to look for, the smoking pipe. Because the saliva can be done. And but he eventually got the teeth. Which we thought were his.
Okay.
So these teeth were tested by a CFSL and that fraud report came out. Now, whatever has left of their teeth is there. But it is in the custody of the UP government, which either will not let us touch it. And I have a fear they will destroy it, because वो खत्म करना होगा पूरे केस को. So वो हमारे हाथ में नहीं है. So because I cannot get a sample from outside, the sample has to be, now these are teeth from Gumnami Baba, and they were secured by the authorities at the behest of the court. Court's order, led to this thing. Because I cannot break a random, hair sample from somebody. Then they will accuse me कि आप तो नेताजी की family किसी का sample उठा के डाल रहे हो. Because people there's a theory. In fact, there's a theory that the ashes. There are many people on our side who say that we should not have a DNA test of the remains in Rinpoche temple. It is quite possible it has been tinkered with, and they have put the bones of some Netaji's family men also there.
Okay.
They can go. I mean, it is feasible. Of course, they can do it. People are capable of doing it. Our system, because that container has been opened 3-4 times.
Okay.
It has been shown to the people who are close to Congress party. So it is possible when Congress party was in power. Not that I trust these people, but then those people were far more worse. So it can be done. But I said it will be found out. Even if it has been tinkered with. So even if you put, if these are not Netaji, but Netaji's, suppose for the sake of the argument, Netaji's nephews have, bones. No, you can catch. DNA will figure out. That you can't fool the DNA expert. They will figure out whether it is Subhash Bose or somebody else in his family.
Right.
So that can be caught. So any Gumnami Baba samples can be had, but they are in custody of UP government. Okay. For example, there are multiple things, and you and I are not investigators. CBI will come thousands. For example, you have the Rolex and Omega gold watch.
Okay.
You know what is the cost of it? I can tell you to whom it was sold, because nobody buys gold watch every now and then. Yes. So in the old days, even a sewing machine, the license used to come with it. Okay. I had a sewing machine of my grandfather bought in Lahore in 1929.
I see.
So proper papers and all that.
I see. Wow.
People don't know. Even in transistor. Radio, you probably could recall this thing. I mean, till 1960s, people were supposed to get license for it. You couldn't have a radio in your home without a license.
Without a license?
Yes.
I'm not aware of this.
No. Wow. They used to have a license. In 60s, they changed the rule.
Wow.
You couldn't have a radio because it was a secret. You could communicate message and all that.
Okay, a two-way radio. I see.
So radios, to get a radio, you had to have a license. It was only, I think, 60s they changed the rule in India. You can now keep this thing in home. Because technology in those days is different. It could be misused. So they had genuine security concerns in those days.
Right.
Radio can be misused to send signals and receive. In fact, Gumnami Baba did that. He actually brought a radio asked his people to bring it to him because he wanted to get messages from the other side on a different frequency. Okay. So technology has changed a lot. So anything, these kind of things which can be done. But so there are multiple things. There are books, letters, so on and so forth. If CBI or some expert panel, some investigators were to put their minds and heart to it, they will take 5 days to ascertain who this man was.
Right. And I'm sure the government has the records.
No, the records are all secured. Gumnami Baba, whatever he left, and they were sealed on court's order. For example, when I talk about the letter from Guru Golwalkar ji found there, if the allegation is that they were planted by the BJP or RSS, please understand this they were confiscated by the government in 85.
85 itself.
85. And it was done at the behest of the court. Okay. So there was no BJP and RSS then. And the judge who gave the order was a Muslim judge. So you cannot accuse that BJP has planted this for you today. BJP was least interested in this case, then or even today. So this is nothing to do with BJP and RSS. But this, so then you can find out, and then you can go and talk to people in RSS headquarters. Why would Golwalkar write such letters to such a person? So there are thousands of objects lying there. Letters are there are people writing from here and there. You can always go back to the people and trace them. Ask them who this man was. Why were you writing him letters?
So if all this evidence has been suppressed, if the UP government has all these letters, possessions, etc., how were you able to get the information?
I was able to get the information two ways. When it's a very nice question, good question, because it's all in custody of the government. But journalists get around, get something or the other. So, this is why I think historians are not the right people to do this thing, because historians cannot do this thing. They will go by what is in the records. So, for example, in this case, journalists did something very good. Ashok Tandon ji was a very well-known journalist in this area, in that 85, 86. He was the one who first broke the story. And when the inventory, the High Court gave the order, so there was a process under which all the data, all the stuff which was found there was inventorized. And there was a process which lasted for about 1 year or so. Okay, Tandon ji is also a lawyer. So he got into that panel somehow. Okay. Through that, he had access to all the stuff. And in between, what he did was to take photocopies of some of these documents. Okay. Illegally. Of course, because legally you can't do it. Okay. Had he not done this thing, again, the case would have remained where it was. I see. So that's why we have these samples available, documents, data, stuff. And then when Justice Mukherjee Commission went there, in 2001. So this stuff was again reopened. Okay. It is there that I personally saw many of these objects with my own eyes.
I see. Okay.
So for example, there were not many laborers were there. So Mukherjee had to scan. He had only 1 day. So he was looking for handwriting samples. So he asked us कि इसमें से निकाल के दो. Then he saw we were standing, me and 2 more journalists. He said you also help.
Okay.
And we volunteered because हमारा कार सेवा हमारे को तो उसी बहाने हाथ लगाने का मौका मिल जाएगा.
Yes.
So we went and we tried this thing, and then, for example, there was a book, thick book, Radha Binod Pal, Dissension Judgment, International War and Tribunal. Such a thick book, the entire judgment of Radha Binod Pal of the Tokyo War Crimes Trial. So all underlined, he has underlined everywhere and so on and so forth.
Okay.
Justice Mukherjee said, give it to me. Suddenly he took it from us. He did not allow.
I see.
Then there Brigadier John Dalby's book, Himalayan Blunder.
Yes.
So that he has underlined many places and written comments on the margins. So there are a lot of, basically essentially books about military, security, India's history, in Bangla, in English, Sanskrit. A lot of religious stuff.
He understood Sanskrit.
He understood. In fact, people told me that he could recite shloka perfect.
Okay.
He was like this. So Subhash himself was very religiously inclined. Don't confuse him with his relatives who are right now communist.
So we have this image of a guy, of a leader who's very secular and that sort of thing. So he was very...
No, he was... No, what is the meaning of secularism? I mean, being a secular. He was secular.
In present-day India, it means you're not religious.
No, present-day, I mean, Netaji used
not
to...
Hindu.
Netaji is not Hindu. So Netaji used to carry with him a Gita all the time.
Okay.
This has been noted by Britishers and even Christians who were in the INA.
Okay.
So this is not a secret. So how many leaders who call themselves secular, especially in Calcutta or Bengal, would carry Gita with them all the time?
Right.
He used to sleep on it. He used to keep it under his pillow.
Okay.
He was carrying with him when the plane crash happened.
Okay.
No Gita was found.
Interesting.
So he was, in that sense, he was secular. The Muslims under him were also secular. They went to temples with him.
Okay.
There was one instant when he opposed. The priest said, no, I will not allow non-Hindus. He said, if you don't allow them, I will not come. But the others also went. They also did the thing which they are not supposed to do otherwise. But then I must respond to another large issue. People keep on giving, the problem with history, the context is very important. If we look back something which happened 30, 40, 60 years ago, we have to keep in mind the context.
Yes, it was different world.
Through Subhash Bose, what he did, what he was, India was a different country in terms of secularism and Hindu-Muslim relationship. Before 46 and after 46 became a different country.
Yes.
And nobody had, seen it coming. Once it happened, there was a break.
Yes.
So today that break has happened. And now I'm looking back from today's perspective. Obviously, I'll find many faults with what he did, what he said. And that's a debate I don't want to get into, because if I went into this thing, then I'll have to give example from other icons who did the same.
Okay.
Because that was the only way out. What would you do in 1935 India? You couldn't talk like what you're doing today on Twitter. So that's that sort of thing. So he was very religiously inclined. He almost became a holy man at very young age, at the age of 16, 17.
Okay.
And he came from a good family.
Yes.
In fact, he learned English first. He did not know Bangla, his mother tongue. He learned Bangla later on. He learned English first.
I see.
As a child, he in fact, it's written somewhere that when he went to Calcutta, he was born in Cuttack. So he felt ashamed because his pronunciation was not good of Bangla words. Then he from a rich family, father was well-known lawyer, Rai Bahadur. He became like spiritually inclined, started reading all scriptures.
Okay.
Age of 16, 17, these are all factual, historical facts. He ran from his house to become a holy man. He went all over India, Mathura, everywhere.
Okay.
And then he went back to his mother. Even when he was in INA, he was religiously inclined. In family, they all talk about he used to worship. When he was in INA, every night he used to put on saffron and sit in dhyan.
Okay.
People who met him in Germany, they said that he was sitting in that posture in dhyan and all that. So he was religiously inclined. There are all kinds of stories and claims. Even I do not know how far it's true, but when he met Heinrich Himmler, he gave him the Gita.
Okay, really?
So that is what is being talked about on Twitter, Facebook, everywhere.
Okay.
So he was nobody disputes he was spiritually, religiously inclined. So many of the things that he did or say, for example, he wrote that we should go to Africa and bring them to Hindu religion.
Okay, he said that.
He wrote that.
Okay.
He wrote that.
He wrote that?
Yeah, very clearly.
Okay.
And there are multiple other statements. I mean, I can pick, and there are people on the other side, which is the Muslim League and other sides. They said that if INA were to win or Subhash to win, India would become a Hindu nation. Now the problem with me that people pick only one person, they forget. For example, it's like Subhash was an umbrella, he's a very big leader. So under him, whom? Like you see the chain of command, in a sense, you have General J.K. Bosle, who is the chief of the staff of the INA. So J.K. Bhosle is the direct descendant of Shivaji Maharaj. Immediately, below Deputy Chief of Staff is Habibur Rahman.
Right.
Habibur Rahman, unfortunately, had to go to Pakistan.
Yes.
It was not his choice. I must repeat, I must tell you, it was not his choice.
Not his choice. How
No. The family were killed here and so on and so forth. So he had, the poor man, no other choice. He didn't want to go, but he was forced to go.
Okay.
But that's a different matter altogether. But he went. So what he went, that's what. But it was not his choice. The poor man could not have done anything but to make it because his family was getting killed here.
Okay.
He went there, he became part of an enemy country, so on and so forth. Now, another good buddy of Habibur Rahman was P.N. Oak.
Okay.
P.N. Oak of the Tejo Mahalle, who was very favorite of the right-wingers.
Okay, the writer.
Yeah.
The historian.
And P.N. Oak was very fond of Habibur Rahman, by the way.
Okay.
He spun all kind of conspiracy theories, but he saw none in the Netaji death mystery because he believed his friend Habibur Rahman.
I see.
Supported him till the end. Habibur Rahman is correct.
Okay.
The same man spun all kind of, stupid conspiracy theories. He never uttered, he supported Habibur Rahman. So under Netaji, there were all kind of people. One INA man went and became part of Pakistan. Another INA man became part of the Indian government. One INA, General Kiani, was part of the government of General Ziaul-Haq. One INA man was part of the Lal Bahadur Shastri government. He was a deputy defense minister. And one INA man joined Hindu Mahasabha.
Okay.
So under him, there are all kind of people. So if the argument, the logic is that because Habibur Rahman was with Subhash Bose for about 1 year, and later on Habibur Rahman he became Pakistani, and he was part of the Pakistani army which attacked Indian government, and therefore Netaji is blamed for it. And then they are attacking us. So you cannot, if you want to give me example of Habibur Rahman, I'll give example of P.N. Oak. So Subhash had different priorities, different time constraints. And he was operating in a foreign country. People do not know. He was not flying out of an Indigo flight, and he did not have that kind of visa. Different world altogether.
Yes.
He did not have. In fact, Gumnam Baba has talked about it. He said, he did not have much choices. He had to make with whatever was available to him.
Yes.
And he wrote very clearly, whatever I did or said in those days was suitable for that time.
Right.
He clarified this thing. Whatever I did, said was suitable and given in the opportunities I got. When Subhash Bose, Netaji, people don't realize this thing. For example, the story of Gandhiji is being called father of nation. Gandhiji was known as Bapu.
Yes.
Now Subhash Bose opened his heart about Gandhiji when he left his country.
Okay.
Even earlier here he has written, in writing left notes, if India were to follow Gandhiji, it will go into ditch.
Okay.
He made it very clear about it. He does not like him. But obviously, he was openly not saying because Gandhiji is a very famous, and there were different times. This was not Twitter era, and Gandhiji was his father's age. When he left his country in 41, and he reached Germany, he wrote a letter to Rashbihari Bose, which deliberately historians ignore, because when he gives his actual appraisal of Mahatma Gandhi, he said, "I've defeated him twice. He will never support us, and he will always compromise with the British."
Okay.
This made it very clear about Gandhi, what he thinks of Mahatma Gandhi.
I see.
He will always compromise with the British. He will just make a show of support and they will withdraw.
Okay.
Run him down like in a couple of paragraphs. Gandhi will never support us and his era has come to an end. We have to fight our own all.
Okay.
Then he writes that for the sake of political expediency, sometimes we'll give him some, as a political maneuver, the word he has used, there is maneuver, political maneuver. Sometimes we will praise him.
Okay.
It was a political jumlebaji.
Right.
You have to praise him. But what can you do? Then he reaches Southeast Asia. Japan controlled that area. Unfortunately, fortunately, this entire system that came into his hand, the Indian Independence League, the entire paraphernalia was built by a Congress overseas.
Yes.
So people who were supporting him, many of them essentially were Congress party supporters. They were supporters of Gandhiji. Okay. So now to win them over,
he has to make
concessions.
Yes.
He did not like Gandhiji, but he had to take support. And when you're outside the country, and he had a priority that he has to fight the British. These people are helpful. So he made that thing, okay, fine. So in that context and time and place, when he's addressing, he's making propaganda broadcast to bring people around, message. So when he's saying Bapu, he will English mein, he's the father of nation. So he used that jumla. And the thing about the government of India and others all talking, whenever they talk about Gandhiji, they always bring example of Subhash Bose said so.
Yeah, this is the point that people make often.
Everywhere, even the government. But they don't follow anything that Subhash Chandra Bose said in his life. So Subhash Bose is relevant to you only when he called Gandhiji father of nation. The other things he said, you don't follow those things. So Subhash has said many other things about Gandhi. Also, you please follow those also.
Indeed.
And take other things also into consideration. Because Subhash's importance is what, I mean, if you see from the point of view of an average Bengali intellectual, use his name to promote Mahatma Gandhi, which is a brain icon. Gandhi ji was called father of nation by Subhash Bose, so it justifies my Gandhi Bhakti. So that is the idea. And because Subhash Bose had many Muslims, with him, and Modi is not secular. And they don't understand that Modi ji also has a lot of Muslims under him. So this kind of situation has built up. So time, place, context. So Subhash was like an umbrella. This is another problem I have with some of these debates. I do not want to enter into this thing because it will not help me. It will be not helpful for our cause because my focus is entirely different. People don't understand the difference between chalk and cheese. You cannot compare Subhash Chandra Bose some Tom, Dick and Harry.
Yes.
Anybody who makes a claim that Subhash Bose said something which was not right, that person should be asked to name his or her icon first. Give me the name of the one you revere, admire. Somebody writing books cannot be compared to somebody who ran an entire government.
Yes, right.
Have a sense of proportion.
You're right.
Somebody who addressed a gathering in a remote part of Maharashtra cannot be compared to Subhash Chandra Bose, who went and met Hitler, who met all these people, got things done. And most people don't understand this is not 2023.
Yeah.
Some of the people that you're talking about and you have made them, so big, they did not even have the gumption to go and talk to a guard in Germany in those days. How many Indians were able to go to Germany and talk to,
So Subhash Bose went to Germany. He was able to get a meeting with Hitler. Then he went all the way to Japan.
He was essentially, from what I understand, because you must talk to Chandra Churghosh, he will probably be able to throw. But little I know, when he left this country, his intention was to get Germany Russia to support us.
Russia, okay.
His aim was Russia because Russia was close, next door neighbor. So when Russians were not willing to help, but they helped him to go over to Germans because Russia and Germany were not at war at the time. So then he again was thinking in terms of coming together. But then once Germany, invaded this thing, then I mean, you will feel proud when you see those minutes of discussion and what he's telling people there openly. He criticized Germans sitting in Germany that one time what you've done is wrong.
Okay.
It has sent a very negative message because Indians think very high of Russia.
Okay.
So he had that kind of a courage and wisdom to see and tell them very clearly on their face. How many people, and you comparing that man with somebody who's, giving lectures here and there in small villages. And you compare him blowing out of proportion.
Right.
Have sense of proportion. I don't want to demean any other freedom fighter, but fortunately, Subhash Chandra Bose's stature is something cannot be compared to anyone.
No, this man who has fled India, why was he treated with so much respect?
That has to be some charisma in him. There has to be something about him. You see the pictures which have come out recently. They became available. He is sitting and talking to Hitler's top brass. He is talking to Hitler. He is talking to Himmler. Himmler is showing him around, taking him on a ride on a car and all. I mean, these people
like a head of state.
I mean, these people were were the most powerful people of that time. They had over in 5-6 countries.
Yes.
If I'm not wrong.
Yes.
They were the most powerful, ruthless. They had killed millions of people. What did they have to gain from an Indian who was a fugitive in the country?
Yes.
So there must be something special about Indian. The concept of body language was not there earlier in our country. Now, please apply those rules of body language. You see a very famous picture, you'll Google search, you'll find about Himmler and Subhash Bose meeting and talking to each other. Just see the body language.
Right.
There must be something about Subhash Bose. This is not Narendra Modi 2023 who has the power and clout of the entire India behind him today. That's why our Prime Minister goes abroad today and he exudes body language because the country is powerful. It's not that Narasimha Rao was not capable. Narasimha Rao, the poor man, could not do this much because the country was not that powerful in those days. So the thing is that Subhash Bose is a fugitive who will be, killed like a fly next minute. The way he conducted himself, talked to those people, and you read the transcript of his discussion with Hitler.
Okay.
He told him on his face that you don't tell me I know what to do and so on and so forth. Very, very, diplomatically, it takes a lot of courage and wisdom to do so. Nobody in India had that sort of a reach or I said that giving lectures in some remote area and talking big things about doing this, that is simple.
Right.
But doing exactly running government, people make stupid draw parallels. There was another government which was formed earlier, Raja Mahendra Pratap. It was on paper. Having something on paper and having something functional running
in the
real world.
Yeah.
Thousands of people. There's a Jahad Bank. There's an intelligence service. There's an army. उसमें डिपार्टमेंट चल रहे हैं, उनका लैंड है, सब कुछ है.
Yes.
Fully functional government recognized by 6-7 countries, including Ireland.
Ireland.
De Valera was keen on Subhash Bose. He came to India. He spoke in his favor in 49 or something when he came to India. In Calcutta, he went to Calcutta also. He met his brother. The thing is कि you are talking. Please learn to. I mean, ठीक है, उनका वोट बैंक नहीं है उनके नाम का. Bengali community has let down Subhash Bose, so you are demeaning that person's stature. He was much bigger than all of these people put together. Look at the scale he went from here to there and meeting top leaders, bringing an army, and all in a manner of 6 months.
6 months. From Germany, he goes all the way to Japan, halfway across the world.
Halfway across the world.
And then he's able to raise an army.
It's not like he's taken a flight from,
Submarine.
And submarine is not like today's submarine. No?
Oh, no.
It's difficult. He couldn't even stand there. The food reeked of diesel when whatever he ate. So it's not a joyride, just as we would take today in a submarine. So he goes there and then from scratch he builds up everything, deals with Japanese who are ruthless to others.
Absolutely.
There's something good about him that he saved Indians. There's a story. He saved Indians. If he had not been there, probably the Japanese would do the same to them as they've done to others. So he does everything, and people are anybody and everybody who met him, be it Mussolini or Tojo or Hitler, they all felt good about him. He had some charisma, he had some charm, and he had nothing to offer them.
He had nothing to offer them.
Hitler he was under no obligation to support our freedom struggle. Why should he support him?
Yes, right.
But there was something about this man that people felt commitment, he has some conviction, he carries something, and then he supported him. So one must be mindful. The problem with Subhash Bose, because he does not have a vote bank linked to him, because they are not members of parliament willing to raise stink in his name, so his stature is not where it should be. He's not given his due space. All and sundry people are given so much importance, but he's not.
Right.
So that's what I even recently, as far as I remember, all said and done, so many good things Modi ji has done. When the new parliament was, unveiled, I don't find a reference to Subhash Chandra Bose anywhere.
I see. Okay.
I don't see that anybody referred to him. I mean, without him, you would not be free. You would be very happy continuing as a dominion status. First of all, people don't know the difference between dominion status and free country. We were a dominion state. We were a dominion of England from 47 to 50 at least.
50, right?
At least 50.
At least. As far as you know.
As far as I know. I have some doubts afterwards.
Okay.
Because we had the Firangs working as a chief of Indian Air Force. And
until 58 sometime?
58, the Navy chief. And they asked me, why did not he come out? You expect him to come out when your armies, your forces are controlled by the Britishers.
Right. Until 58.
58.
Yeah.
And Cariappa was as good as an Angrez, by the way.
Okay.
He was a Firang. If you see his videos and all, he was a Firang.
Okay.
100% Firang. When the late queen got married, Elizabeth, so they collected money for her.
Really? Wow.
Indian army officers.
Okay.
She was a monarch. They fought in the name of her father. And this is in 47, after independence.
After independence.
Yeah, they collected money and they gave her a gift.
I believe V.N. Naipaul wrote when he visited India after independence that the Indian army would still have the portrait of Queen Elizabeth on the wall.
Yeah. So I've given example of Cariappa. This is post for independence.
Yes, right.
After transfer power, she got married. So never mind the conditions we were in. They collected money and gave her a gift.
Right.
They said, I'm quoting these as papers. Government of India also gave her a very expensive gift. The necklace was given with diamonds and all that.
Hadn't they looted enough from India?
No, but they are. So that's why we're not asking them to. People keep talking about India asking the British to return the Kohinoor. Why would we have never asked them?
We have never.
Why should we care? I mean, we have given them so much.
Yes.
The entire bill for the Second World War was
fought by India.
By us.
Yes, that's right.
It was not our war.
It was not a war at all. So Subhash Chandra, one of the criticisms you get from about Mr. Bose, especially from the West, is that he was part of the Axis powers.
Yeah.
He worked for the Axis. He collaborated with them. When the statue was unveiled, that thing was reopened. So is this something that would tarnish his legacy that he worked?
It would, in a sense, because the world goes by that line, the Western world. In fact, our own elite class, in fact, the editor of Hindu, she also same.
About Axis collaborator.
Same thing. She sold exactly same thing. I mean, she probably was more, ruthless than the people in the West.
I see.
So people are here, like they will talk like this.
So at that time, it was not known what the Germans were doing, right?
No, let's forget about that. Even if they knew. I mean, today the West is calling Putin a war criminal.
Yes.
To us, he's not.
He's not.
Russia has stood by us for all these years. When I'm talking to a foreign country, a foreign nation, I'm only concerned with my own country's national interest. I'm not concerned with what they are doing in the. In fact, Pandit ji also stated something to this effect after independence. We were pally with all kind of dictators for all these years. I mean, we had till recently an embassy in North Korea. And our embassy website, I believe, it was there because I think during the COVID they shut down for whatever reason. But we had a full-fledged embassy in North Korea, and the statement on the embassy website was that we have shared values with them, with North Korea. So what shared values do we have with the North Koreans? National interest. What shared values did the Americans had with the the Saudis? National security, national interest. That's what it was. So India's aim was like, this is one point where Subhash Bose and Gandhi came into a clash. Subhash Bose, like Gandhi ji in when the World War happened. So he met the Viceroy Linithgao here, and he told Viceroy that in this war we are with you, in a sense, and that my aim is to bring peace for the entire mankind. That is the aim of Gandhiji's life. So you would just see it very clearly. Every Gandhian worth his name, today or yesterday, their ultimate aim is the world peace,
which can never happen.
No, whether it happens or not, but that is their aim.
It's their aim. Stated aim.
Take any Gandhian, whether he's in BJP or Congress or wherever, today or yesterday, tomorrow, the ultimate aim of all Gandhians is to bring peace of the mankind.
World peace.
World peace. Like John Lennon sang those songs, so they keep on repeating, John Imagine, and all we are saying, give peace a chance. Somebody was saying it yesterday, actually.
I see.
Gandhiji, this is the only way. So Gandhiji was not for the peace in India, for the internet, and that was a aim higher than the India's independence. Subhash Bose, on the other hand, was very narrow-minded. He was thinking only in terms of India first.
Indian interest.
India first. I am concerned with my country's freedom. Gandhiji and Gandhians stand for the international peace. Now, the jumla of international peace sells a lot in the Western countries.
It does.
Especially, John Lennon sings all those, songs. He doesn't care a hoot about his own family and child. But he's very much keen about world peace. So these are very fashionable things, which fashionable words. And you are like, I do not know, I have not followed any of this Miss Universe contest, but I saw initial days, many years ago. Every time the contestant was asked, what would you do, when you want to be? So they would talk about either becoming Mother Teresa or some kind of a journalist. And I know they will all end up becoming models, and they will become film actresses.
Yes, that's right.
Why? But that is a jumla which
that's what works, right?
It works. It's a hogwash, but if everybody likes to hear, world peace should be there when you go to these flashy, these high society parties. It's very fashionable to talk about these things of bringing peace for mankind. No, we have an added this thing. We have been, as a country, deprived of a Nobel Peace Prize. It was deprived. Gandhiji was not given.
Yes.
Panditji, 11 times his name went. He was just not given.
Oh, I see. 11 times.
11 times Panditji's name went. Nobel Peace Prize. I saw a file in UK, British Archives, in which there was a passing comment, but it was very relevant. It's MI6 record. MI6 record. It says that that the Nehru thinks that the British hand is responsible for his not getting the Nobel Peace Prize.
I see.
So that is there. So the thing is, but this has got into our system, body politics. Our leaders feel they have been cheated. We deserve the Nobel Peace Prize. In 1940s, when Gandhiji was still living, there was a report, I think in one of the newspapers, that they got some inside information. Gandhiji is going to get the Nobel Prize this year. So we got that close. So we never got. So Gandhiji. So this pain has lingered on. We haven't got the Nobel Peace Prize, and we deserve the Nobel Peace Prize. So Indian leaders, all of us, whoever becomes a big leader, they all talk in terms of world peace. They think this is the best way to get that Nobel Peace Prize. So that is a thing,
right?
And that somehow directly and indirectly is behind there, and they think they cannot get a Nobel Peace Prize without talking about Gandhiji. You talk about Subhash Chandra Bose, you will not be fit. But if you want to get that award, coveted award in Oslo, Norway, and all that, you have to talk about things which are sellable in the West. So this is the most sellable idea. You talk of world peace. It is very nice to talk to. Our Prime Minister Modi ji goes to I think Germany. He went and he talked about that Gandhiji's way. Through Gandhiji's way, we can even defeat terrorism. My only question is then what was the need of Mr. Doval being going to Kashmir? If Gandhiji's path can resolve can tackle terrorism, then we might as well send all the people from the Congress party to all these places and tackle everything. I've been asking for last so many months that ever since the Ukraine war has happened, we must send the Gandhians there. They have a such a marvelous capacity for
great opportunity
for them. They have conflict resolution is I mean I keep reading this Gandhian literature and they keep on telling us this is the only way.
Okay.
And they have done so in past. If you can convince the British Empire to recede from India, Russia's nothing. I mean these things are these minor things. And they will not ask, they are totally selfless, they want nothing in return, so you don't have to worry about their well-being and all that. Just let them loose, take them up to Afghanistan, send them across the border, say go there and come back when you have achieved something. If you don't come back, goodbye to you. We are not responsible. So this is all, but this jumla is happening. You pick up any, I have to ask this question in the context that there are at least 10 or maybe 9-10 organizations in our country which are doing constant research on Gandhian pace. Gandhi